My wife asked me to give you this money.
I can't believe this is happening.
We'll figure it out. We always do.
What would you do if you discovered that the person you trusted with your heart had been lying to you for 5 long years? Would you keep quiet, or would you fight for the truth? Before we dive into this story, please hit that like button, share this with someone who loves a good mystery, and subscribe to Heartbound Stories. We want to hear from you too. Drop a comment and tell us where you are watching from. We love hearing from our viewers around the world. Now, let me tell you about Jerome Williams, a man whose life was built on a promise that turned out to be a lie. Jerome woke up every morning at 6 o'clock. The sun was just starting to peek through the curtains of his small apartment. He would stretch, yawn, and then look at the picture on his bedside table. It showed a woman with a bright smile and kind eyes. Her name was Kesha, and she was his wife. Or at least, she used to be. Kesha died 5 years ago. That is what Jerome believed. That is what everyone told him. Cancer, they said. It took her fast. One day she was healthy and laughing. The next day she was sick. 3 months later, she was gone. Jerome remembered the last time he saw her in the hospital. Her skin was pale. Her voice was weak. She held his hand and whispered, "Promise me something, Jerome. Promise me you will take care of my mother. Send her money every month. She has no one else. Promise me." Jerome had tears running down his face. "I promise, Kesha. I promise." She smiled. Then she closed her eyes. 2 hours later, the doctors came and told Jerome that Kesha was dead. His heart broke into a million pieces that day. But Jerome kept his promise. Every single month for 5 years, he sent $300 to Diane Jefferson. That was Kesha's mother. At least, that is who Jerome thought she was. Diane lived in another city, far away. Jerome never visited her. She never visited him. They only talked on the phone once in a while. Jerome worked hard as an electrician. He fixed lights and wires in people's homes. The work was not easy, but it paid the bills. After paying rent, buying food, and taking care of his daughter Zara, Jerome always made sure to send that $300 to Diane. It did not matter if money was tight. It did not matter if he had to skip buying new shoes for himself. A promise was a promise. Zara was 13 years old now. She had her mother's eyes and her father's stubborn spirit. She was smart, funny, and the only light in Jerome's dark world. Every morning, Jerome made her breakfast. Every evening, he helped her with homework. On weekends, they watched movies and ate popcorn. Life was not perfect, but they had each other. One Tuesday morning, Jerome stopped at his favorite coffee shop before work. He needed his usual cup of strong black coffee. The shop smelled like fresh bread and roasted beans. Jerome ordered his drink and sat down at a small table near the window. That is when Troy walked in. Troy was Jerome's old friend from high school. They had not seen each other in almost a year. Troy's face lit up when he saw Jerome. "Jerome. Man, it has been too long," Troy said, sitting down across from him. They talked about work, about life, about everything and nothing. Then Troy's face became serious. He leaned forward and lowered his voice. "Jerome, I need to tell you something. I did not want to say anything, but I cannot keep quiet anymore." Jerome felt his stomach twist. "What is it?" "Last month, I was in Springfield for work. You know, that city about 2 hours away. I was at a restaurant, and I saw someone who looked exactly like Diane Jefferson." Jerome frowned. "Kesha's mom? So what? She could have been visiting." Troy shook his head. "That is the thing, man. She was not alone. She was with a group of women. They were laughing and talking loud. I heard one of them call her by a different name. They called her Rita. Rita Mitchell." Jerome's heart started beating faster. "Maybe you heard wrong. I thought so too. But then I heard them talking about money. One woman said something like, 'How many people are sending you checks this month, Rita?' And they all laughed. Jerome, it felt wrong. Really wrong. Jerome sat there, frozen. His coffee got cold in his hand. His mind was spinning. Could Troy be right? Could Diane be lying to him? Are you sure it was her? Jerome asked quietly. Troy nodded. I am 99% sure. Same face. Same voice. I wanted to go talk to her, but she left before I could. After Troy left, Jerome sat in that coffee shop for another hour. He stared at his phone. He thought about Kesha's last words. He thought about all the money he had sent over the years. 5 years. 12 months each year. $300 every month. That was $18,000. What if it was all a lie? That evening, Jerome could not eat dinner. Zara noticed something was wrong. Dad, are you okay? She asked, her big brown eyes full of worry. Jerome forced a smile. I am fine, honey. Just tired from work. But he was not fine. That night, after Zara went to bed, Jerome pulled out an old box from his closet. Inside were pictures and papers from when Kesha died. He looked through everything carefully. The death certificate. The hospital papers. Pictures from the funeral. Then he found something strange. In one picture from the funeral, he saw Diane standing in the background. But when he looked closer, really closer, he noticed something odd. The woman in the picture had a small scar above her left eyebrow. Jerome remembered that scar. He had seen it before. But in a newer picture that Diane had sent him last Christmas, there was no scar above her eyebrow. The face looked the same, but something was different. How could a scar just disappear? Jerome's hands started shaking. His breathing became fast. He grabbed his phone and searched online for Diane Jefferson. He typed in her name and the city she claimed to live in. Nothing came up. No social media. No address listings. No phone number. It was like Diane Jefferson did not exist. Then Jerome searched for Rita Mitchell in Springfield. His eyes went wide when he saw the results. There she was. Same face. Same smile. But the name was completely different. Jerome felt sick. His whole body went cold. He stumbled to the bathroom and splashed water on his face. When he looked in the mirror, he saw a man who had been fooled. A man who had been played. A man whose promise to his dying wife had been turned into a cruel joke. The next morning, Jerome made a decision. He was going to find out the truth. No matter what it took. No matter how much it hurt. He needed to know if his wife really died. He needed to know who Diane Jefferson really was. And he needed to know why someone would lie to a man who was drowning in grief. Jerome picked up his phone and searched for private investigators in his city. He found one with good reviews. His name was Marcus Reed. Jerome's finger shook as he dialed the number. A deep voice answered. Reed Investigations. How can I help you? Jerome took a deep breath. My name is Jerome Williams, and I think someone has been lying to me for 5 years. I need your help to find the truth. Tell me everything, Marcus said. And Jerome did. Marcus Reed was a tall man with gray hair and sharp eyes that seemed to see everything. He met Jerome at a small diner 3 days after their phone call. Marcus ordered coffee. Jerome ordered nothing. His stomach was too twisted with worry to eat or drink anything. I brought everything, Jerome said, sliding a folder across the table. Pictures. Papers. Bank statements showing every payment I sent. The death certificate. Everything. Marcus opened the folder slowly. His eyes moved across each page. He did not speak for a long time. Finally, he looked up at Jerome. Mr. Williams, I have seen a lot of sad things in my job. But this looks like something worse than I thought. Jerome's throat felt tight. What do you mean? Your wife's death certificate. The hospital listed here. I know that place. They closed down 4 years ago. But according to this paper, your wife died there 5 years ago when it was still open. Marcus tapped the certificate with his finger. The signature at the bottom, the doctor's name, I am going to check if this person is real. Jerome felt dizzy. Are you saying the death certificate is fake? I am saying something does not add up. Give me 1 week. I will find out who Diane Jefferson really is. That week was the longest week of Jerome's life. He went to work. He came home. He helped Zara with her homework. But his mind was somewhere else. Every night, he lay in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering if his whole life had been a lie. Zara noticed. Of course she noticed. She was a smart girl. "Dad, you have been acting strange," she said one evening while they washed dishes together. "Is something wrong? Are you sick?" Jerome looked at his daughter. Her face was so innocent, so trusting. He could not tell her the truth. Not yet. Not until he knew for sure. "I am fine, sweetheart. Just thinking about work stuff." But Zara was not fooled. She hugged her father tight. "Whatever it is, we will be okay. We always are." Jerome hugged her back, fighting tears. "Yes, baby. We will be okay." On the 7th day, Marcus called. "Mr. Williams, we need to meet. Now." They met at Marcus's office, a small room with papers and files everywhere. Marcus's face was serious. He pointed to a chair, and Jerome sat down. "I found out who Diane Jefferson is," Marcus began. "Or rather, who she is not. There is no Diane Jefferson listed anywhere in the city she gave you. No birth records. No tax records. Nothing. But I did find Rita Mitchell in Springfield, just like your friend said." Jerome leaned forward. "And Rita Mitchell has been running a scam for over 10 years. She finds people who are grieving, people who just lost someone they love. Then she pretends to be a relative of the dead person. She asks for money every month. When I dug deeper, I found at least 12 other people sending her money right now." Jerome felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. 12 people. Marcus nodded. 12 that I found so far. There might be more. This woman is stealing from people's pain, Mr. Williams. She is taking money from people who can barely afford it. But how did she know about Kesha? How did she know my wife was dying? Jerome's voice cracked. "That is what I wanted to find out next. So I looked into your wife's death certificate more carefully. I called the doctor whose name is on it. Guess what? That doctor never worked at that hospital. In fact, that doctor does not exist. The death certificate is a fake." Jerome stood up fast. His chair fell backward with a loud crash. "What are you saying? Are you saying Kesha is not dead?" Marcus held up his hand. "Sit down, Mr. Williams. Please. There is more, and you need to hear all of it." Jerome picked up his chair with shaking hands. He sat down. His whole body felt cold. "I tracked down the hospital where your wife supposedly died. I talked to nurses who worked there 5 years ago. I showed them Kesha's picture. One nurse remembered her. She said yes, Kesha was there. But she did not die. She checked out of the hospital 3 days before the date on that fake death certificate." "Where is she?" Jerome whispered. "Where is my wife?" Marcus pulled out another folder. Inside were pictures. Pictures that made Jerome's heart stop. There was Kesha. Alive. Healthy. Smiling. She was standing next to a man Jerome had never seen before. In one picture, she was holding the man's hand. In another picture, her stomach was round and big. She was pregnant. "These pictures were taken 2 months ago in Florida," Marcus said quietly. "She is living under a new name now. Kesha Davis. The man with her is named Robert Davis. They have been together for 4 years." Jerome could not breathe. He could not think. His wife was alive. His wife had left him. His wife had faked her own death and run away with another man while he sent money to a stranger every month. Why? Jerome finally asked. Why would she do this? "I do not have all the answers yet," Marcus said. "But I think Rita Mitchell and your wife worked together. I think they planned this scam. Your wife wanted to leave, but she did not want to deal with divorce or splitting money or explaining herself. So they came up with this plan. Fake her death. Have you send money to Rita. Then split the money between them. Jerome put his head in his hands. Tears fell down his face. He cried for the man he used to be. He cried for the 5 years he wasted. He cried for the promise he made to a woman who never loved him. Marcus waited until Jerome stopped crying. Then he said, "Mr. Williams, this is bigger than just you. This is a crime. Multiple crimes. Fraud. Forgery. Identity theft. I think we need to call the police. Actually, I think we need to call the FBI." Jerome looked up. The FBI? Why? Because this scam crosses state lines. Rita is in one state. Your wife is in another. The fake documents were probably made somewhere else. This is federal crime territory now. 2 days later, Jerome sat in a small room with a woman named Agent Sarah Chen. She was with the FBI. She had kind eyes but a serious face. "Mr. Williams, thank you for coming forward," she said. "We have been watching Rita Mitchell for 6 months. We suspected she was running scams, but we did not have solid proof. You just gave us that proof. What happens now?" Jerome asked. "Now we build a case. We find every person she scammed. We track every dollar. And then we arrest her." Agent Chin paused. "We will also need to find your wife. If she was part of this scam, she will face charges too." Jerome felt strange. Part of him wanted Kesha to pay for what she did. But another part of him still loved the woman she used to be. Or the woman he thought she was. "There is something you should know," Agent Chen continued. "Rita Mitchell is not working alone. We think she is part of a bigger group. A group that targets grieving families all across the country. If we can take her down, we can save a lot of people from getting hurt like you were hurt." Jerome straightened his shoulders. "What do you need me to do?" Agent Chen smiled. "I need you to be brave. I need you to confront Rita Mitchell in person while we record everything. Can you do that?" Jerome thought about Zara. He thought about all the nights he went without dinner so he could send that $300. He thought about all the other people who were being tricked right now. "Yes," Jerome said firmly. "I can do that. When do we start?" "Tomorrow," Agent Chin said. "Tomorrow we end this." The next morning, Jerome woke up with his heart pounding. Today was the day he would face Rita Mitchell. Today was the day the lies would end. Agent Chen had given him a tiny microphone to wear under his shirt. It was so small that nobody could see it. There were also FBI agents in a van parked down the street from Rita's house. They would hear everything. They would see everything through hidden cameras. "Remember," Agent Chen told Jerome before he left. "Stay calm. Ask her questions. Let her talk. We need her to confess on camera." Jerome drove to Springfield. His hands gripped the steering wheel tight. The 2-hour drive felt like 2 minutes. Before he knew it, he was standing in front of a nice house with a white fence and flowers in the yard. This was where Rita Mitchell lived. This was where his money had gone. Jerome walked up to the door. He knocked 3 times. His heart was beating so loud he thought Rita would hear it. The door opened. There she was. The woman who called herself Diane Jefferson. She looked surprised to see him. "Jerome? What are you doing here?" she asked, her voice sweet like honey. "I came to talk, Diane. Or should I call you Rita?" Her face changed. The sweet smile disappeared. Her eyes became cold and hard. "I don't know what you are talking about." "Can I come in?" Jerome asked. "Or are you afraid to talk to me?" Rita looked around nervously. Then she stepped back and let Jerome inside. The house was beautiful. Expensive furniture. A big television. Fancy decorations. All bought with stolen money. "Rita, I know everything," Jerome said calmly. "I know Kesha is not dead. I know you have been lying to me for 5 years. I know you are scamming other people too. Rita laughed, but it was not a real laugh. It was fake and hollow. You are crazy. I think you need to leave. Kesha is alive in Florida with a man named Robert Davis, Jerome continued. She is pregnant. The death certificate you gave me is fake. Your real name is Rita Mitchell, not Diane Jefferson. Should I keep going? Rita's face turned pale. She sat down on her couch. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she looked up at Jerome with angry eyes. So what if I did? So what if I took your money? You are stupid for believing me. You and all the other fools who send me checks every month. You people are so easy to trick. Why? Jerome asked. Why do you hurt people who are already hurting? Rita shrugged. Because it is easy money. People who are sad and grieving do not think clearly. They just want to feel like they are doing something good. You wanted to keep your promise to Kesha. That made you easy to control. Jerome felt anger rising in his chest, but he stayed calm. How many people are you stealing from right now? Enough, Rita said with a mean smile. I make more money than you will ever make fixing lights and wires. And Kesha? How did you meet her? Rita laughed again. Kesha came to me. She wanted to leave you, but she did not want to deal with a divorce. She did not want to split money or fight in court. So we made a deal. I helped her fake her death. She paid me $20,000. Then you started sending me $300 every month as a bonus. It was perfect. Where did you get the fake death certificate? I know people who make fake documents. Birth certificates. Death certificates. Marriage licenses. Whatever you need, they can make it. For the right price. Jerome's hands were shaking, but not from fear. From anger. From betrayal. From all the pain this woman had caused. Suddenly, the front door burst open. FBI agents rushed inside. Agent Chen was leading them. Rita Mitchell, you are under arrest for fraud, forgery, and identity theft, Agent Chen said, pulling out handcuffs. Rita's face went white. She looked at Jerome. You were recording me? You set me up. No, Jerome said quietly. You set yourself up. I just gave you the rope. The FBI agents took Rita away. She screamed and fought, but it did not matter. The evidence was clear. Her own words had sealed her fate. Agent Chen put her hand on Jerome's shoulder. You did good, Mr. Williams. Really good. We are going to find every person she scammed and help them get their money back. What about Kesha? Jerome asked. We have agents in Florida right now. They are arresting her as we speak. Jerome sat down on Rita's expensive couch. He felt tired. So very tired. But also relieved. The truth was finally out. Over the next few months, everything moved fast. Rita Mitchell went to trial. The FBI found 15 people she had been scamming. Some had been sending her money for 7 years. One old man had sent her $50,000 total because she told him she was his dead son's widow. All of those people came to the trial. They sat in the courtroom and told their stories. They cried. They talked about how much pain Rita had caused. The judge listened to everything. In the end, Rita Mitchell was sentenced to 12 years in prison. She was also ordered to pay back every dollar she had stolen. Kesha's trial was different. She cried a lot. She said she was sorry. She said she had been young and stupid and scared. The judge did not care. Kesha was sentenced to 5 years in prison for her part in the fraud. Jerome sat in the courtroom during Kesha's sentencing. Zara sat next to him, holding his hand. She was 14 now, and she knew everything. Jerome had told her the truth about her mother. It had been hard. Zara had cried for days. But she was strong, just like her father. Do you hate her, Dad? Zara asked quietly as they watched Kesha being taken away. Jerome thought about it. No, baby. I do not hate her. I am just sad that she chose lies over love. I am sad that she missed watching you grow up. That is her loss, not ours. Zara squeezed her father's hand. I am glad I have you. I am glad I have you too. 3 months after the trial, Jerome received a check in the mail. It was from the FBI. They had recovered most of the money Rita had stolen from him. $18,000. It was not everything, but it was enough. Jerome took that money and put it into a college fund for Zara. He was not going to waste it. He was not going to let Rita's evil win. Instead, he was going to turn something bad into something good. Agent Chen called Jerome one day. Mr. Williams, we are starting a support group for people who were scammed by fraud rings like Rita's. Would you be interested in helping us run it? Jerome said yes. Once a month, he met with other victims. They shared their stories. They cried together. They healed together. Jerome learned that he was not alone. There were so many people out there who had been tricked by liars who pretended to care. At these meetings, Jerome always said the same thing. Before you give money to anyone, check their story. Ask questions. Look for proof. Trust is good, but truth is better. Zara grew stronger too. She joined the school debate team. She made new friends. She laughed more. Sometimes Jerome would catch her looking at him with such love in her eyes that it made his heart feel full. One evening, Zara came home with a school project. Dad, I have to write about someone I admire. Can I write about you? Jerome smiled. Why would you want to write about me? Because you are the bravest person I know. You found out the truth even when it hurt. You helped other people even when you were hurting. You never gave up. That is what heroes do. Jerome hugged his daughter tight. You make me want to be brave, Zara. You are my reason for everything. A year after Rita's arrest, Jerome was fixing the lights at a community center when he met a woman named Lisa. She was a teacher who worked with kids who had lost their parents. She had a kind smile and gentle eyes. They talked. Then they talked some more. Lisa knew about Jerome's past. She knew about Kesha and Rita and all the pain. But she did not run away. She stayed. Everyone has a past, Lisa told Jerome one day. What matters is how you move forward. Jerome started to believe that maybe, just maybe, he could trust again. Not blindly, not foolishly, but carefully and wisely. On Zara's 15th birthday, Jerome threw her a big party. Their small apartment was filled with friends and laughter and cake. Zara blew out her candles and made a wish. Later that night, after everyone had gone home, Zara asked her father what he had wished for when he blew out candles as a kid. Jerome thought about it. I used to wish for things to stay the same. But now I wish for things to get better. And you know what? They are getting better. Zara smiled. Yeah, Dad. They really are. Jerome looked around his small apartment. It was not fancy like Rita's house. But it was honest. It was real. And it was full of love. He thought about everything that had happened. The lies. The betrayal. The pain. But also the truth. The justice. The healing. Jerome had learned something important. You cannot stop people from lying to you. But you can choose not to believe their lies forever. You can choose to fight for the truth. You can choose to heal. You can choose to be strong for the people who need you. And that is exactly what Jerome did. He chose to be strong. He chose to be honest. He chose to be the father that Zara deserved. As he tucked Zara into bed that night, she looked up at him sleepily. Dad, thank you for never giving up. Thank you for giving me a reason not to, Jerome whispered back. He turned off the light and walked to the living room. He looked at the picture of Kesha on the shelf. For 5 years, that picture had made him sad. But tonight, it just made him grateful. Grateful that he found the truth. Grateful that he was free from lies. Grateful that he had Zara. Jerome took the picture and put it in a drawer. He did not need it anymore. His life was not about the past. It was about the future. A future built on truth, love, and second chances. And as Jerome sat on his couch, tired but content, he made a new promise. Not to a dying wife. Not to a lying stranger. But to himself and to his daughter. He promised to always seek the truth, no matter how painful. He promised to protect the people he loved. He promised to never let anyone turn his kindness into weakness again. It was a promise Jerome knew he would keep. Because this time, the promise was real. The end.